Good evening. It's 6:14 p.m. in Springfield, Oregon. This is John Presco, and I'm just going to block out my vacuum cleaner there. It's very unprofessional, John, to make this important video with your vacuum cleaner. I don't got a maid or a wife. I've never had a woman. That's not true. That not lately. That help me vacuum, help me empty the dishwasher. It's your turn, honey, to put the clean dishes away. It's my main gripe. It's always me. It's my job, my turn to put the clean dishes away. And you know, I'm feeling that way as a member of the Free Press. Royal Rosamond Press is a registered newspaper here in Lane County, and I've always strived to tell the truth and to tackle the hard issues because I believe the truth will set you free. It set me free of my alcohol and drug abuse, along with other behavior that comes with it, addicted personality. And I believe in the 12 steps. I don't have to go into what parts I believe, what parts I don't believe, because it worked. And I understood at the beginning, even though I wanted to do that because I have a big brain, that I've got to not buck the system or I'm dead. I've got to, maybe for the first time in my life, go by a program that's not my own. That's not something I invented because I'm clever. So when two pit bulls go at each other, it's like they have tunnel vision. Yeah. There's this big world here, and then there's the enemy, the other pit bull. And they come in, they're locked. They don't see anything. They don't see anything to the right, to the left, up or down. They're locked in. And they got these powerful, powerful muscles, especially in their jaws. And they get a grip of each other. Good luck in getting to let go. And I think this is the case of Will Smith and his wife and Spike Lee and other blacks who got into this boycott of Hollywood. Hollywood was it's a white institution. It unfair to black people. It's Trump. That's where Trump people are. We have to grab Hollywood. We have to take the Oscars and grab them and because we got to show the Trump supporters that we're not weak and we're proud, dignified people. And Chris Rock, he was privy to this. He saw this back in 2016. And he's just trying to get some work and a job, and he's in show business. That's how he makes his living. That's how he pays for his house and his cars and his vacations and swimming pool. And he tracks, I guess, the opposite sex. I don't know if he's married, but he's in show business. And he does not want to get on the Martin Luther King takes over the Oscars bandwagon. And I don't think I'm aboard on this. I'm aboard on the BET Awards. Ah, ah, you know, and already, Chris Rock becomes the enemy. He's a black man, And he's not going to go along with this great new civil rights frontier that was blessed from on high by Dr. Martin Luther King, who was a black minister, the Black Baptist Church, you know. So, you know, when Chris Rock got on stage there, and there's Will Smith, and Chris Rock is not bowing down and going, "You were right, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. You were right. If you put pressure on Hollywood and the Oscars, they'll give black people what they deserve. I mean, I'm sorry, not black people, black actors, what they deserve. The Best Actor Award." And it worked. And Chris Rock is not going along with it, because I don't think he believed in it ever, because he sees this is going over the cliff. This is going over the cliff. And once the white people who watch the Oscars get a hold of my last post or the truth, they'll find out from other people, other newspaper men. Not all of them, because they just wanted to go along with the program, hope this all goes away. Well, it's not going to go away. Oh, gosh, I sounded like Howard Beale, network, it's not going to go. You got to get mad. You got to go to your window. This is the Black Howard O'Beale show. Oh, God. I got to do takeoff on that. Black network. Where the Oscars, right? All these Hollywood people that sat there in the audience. I mean, just wall-to-wall famous people for year after year. What, 89 years, 90 years, and now they've been, drafted into this, Black Howard Beale show. Mad as hell, I'm not going to take it anymore. Yeah. Chris Rock is funny, and he's got to be laughing, and he's got to be at home making these jokes. If he ever watches this video, he's going to say, "I got to get this guy over to my house. We can sit around and, I don't drink. I hope he doesn't, but this is funny shit." Okay, enough of that. Let's deal with the Battle of Charleston. 5 days ago, I felt obligated to talk about my great-great-great-great-grandfather's ham that he donated to the cause, the swamp fox. Francis Marion was holed up in the swamp outside Charleston. He escaped the British Army and Navy that basically won the Battle of Charleston. And he was the last group. He had like 30, 40 men that survived this great loss at Charleston. And they were in the swamps, and they were able to escape the British that came after them. Because one, they knew the territory. They knew that if you didn't know what you're doing, you're going to get bogged down. If you bring any heavy artillery or wagons in there, they're going to sink in the mud. Does this sound familiar to you? So when I was doing research, because I wanted to write something very elegant about the first Thanksgiving of the Revolutionary War. But there's no turkeys around because they've eaten all the damn turkeys. And they probably shot the eagles out out of the trees and ate them too. An eagle is just about as big as a turkey. It's probably just tasty, So when you killed killed all the turkeys and ate it, then you're going to be pow, bald eagle. No, not the bald eagle. Yeah, it's good. So James Rosamond, the brother of Sammy Rosamond, donated a ham. And how do we know that? Well, because after victory, after Parliament in 1782 said, we're done fighting our colony, or, our fellow citizens, our former citizens, and they can have it. So the Congress came down and said, we got to reward the soldiers who fought. And why they had to do this is extremely crucial to what's going on today. In fact, the whole Battle of Charleston should be studied now by the Russian military. I've been reluctant to really talk about what I think is going on out there. And if I got any remote viewing going on, did I see anything? I'm kind of being pressured to give reports. But I don't, and I've said it, I do not want to influence Zelensky, his generals, and the Ukrainian army and citizens. They're fighting one of the biggest armies in the world. And it looks like they're defeating them. And it looks like they're using some of the tactics that Francis Marion made famous, guerrilla tactics. He's considered the father of the Army Rangers. And is Zelensky being taught these tactics? Does he have American advisors? That are teaching him Marion Francis tactics, because those are the tactics that they are using, apparently. I read one report, so I'm not going to break any top secret here. But the one report, and they very wisely are not giving reports on how the Ukrainians are fighting and how they're winning. But one report said that they had very light off-road vehicles, maybe a Chevrolet or a Ford, four-wheel drive. But you want something light so it won't sink in the mud, like a tank. A Russian tank goes at this time of year, goes off the road, and they're in the mud, and they aren't going anywhere. So when you looked at that 40-mile long column, that's all heavy duty equipment. And that tactic was probably the biggest failure in military history, because they only had one goddamn plan, and that was to intimidate the Ukrainian people and leaders with bringing in all that equipment, and they just fold. Zelensky gets into a Honda four-wheel drive, goes to the airport, and there's the American CIA or plane picking them up and taking them to America. Yeah, I ain't taking that. I don't need a ride. I need a rocket. I need a couple rockets. And Turkey sent him these really out-of-date drones. Hey, I'll take them. I'll take anything. So when that big column approached Kyiv, these trained vehicles went out. They didn't go along the road. They didn't come down the road to meet the huge force. They were able to go into the side roads and stuff. The farmers roads to their farms and wheat fields and whatever, and they didn't sink into the mud. And I was just looking at something there. And they were able to call in these drones that they got from Turkey. Oh, we've heard Turkey, eagles, calling them in. And these were like really slow, uh, cheap, cheap drones, slow and cheap drones that Turkey gave them. And they were able to hover right over that column, the beginning of it, and just beat the fuck out of it. I'm sorry, I'm really excited. I mean, just really drop uh, little rockets right down their turrets. And apparently that was their weak point because they just blew off. You can see these turrets blowing off 100 yards into the air. And the general who's way back in the column goes, "What the hell's going on? Do you see any?" Um, yeah. Hey, Bill, how you doing? Do you see anything there? You see an army there? No, I don't see shit. But except our burning tanks. Well, how the hell is that going on? Did and they never saw those Ford Broncos or whatever they were using. I mean, the American auto industry is really going to be proud when they find out, uh, what the Zelensky force, you know, uh, yeah, I'm getting, see, Bill's trying to control me here. This guy, Bill Rosier, is getting things. See, you should say something about your race in Oregon. Oh, I thought he was talking about the white race. See, and he is using his civilian militias as well. Okay. I guess that's in response. I guess he's watching this video. Yeah, Zelensky had civilian militia. And boy, this gives me a chill because apparently this is what my grandfather was. He wasn't, I don't think he was in the regular rebel army. Captain Sammy Rosamond was an officer that fought. And he was a scout for Francis Marion. So these two men, but mainly knew the train, and they made a plan. The only plan they could. They had a small force in the beginning, and that was to create a lot of havoc with the regular army that survived the attack on Charleston, and then getting the locals around Charleston to pick up a gun and fight in a guerrilla action. And this is exactly what's going on in Ukraine. I mean, everybody's got an army in the world is really, really, really interested in how Ukraine is beating the Soviet Union because it changes everything. It changes everything. There's trillions of dollars being spent right now on arms, on jets, on ships, on tanks, on drones. But if you don't have the right tactic, and if you don't have the right people at the head of your army, when you invade another country, you better know what the hell you're doing. And you better have more than one plant. You better have 5 of them. We're talking about and being an invader. You got to have 5 plans because plan 1 doesn't work. You got to go to plan 2 and plan C are you going to get your ass kicked? Because the defenders can go to one plan. And it looks like Francis Marion and Rosamond Kinn fought that battle, invented that battle, and it convinced Parliament that they could not win, that they could not hold on to the colonies, and these rebels are going to eventually win. That's how you win a war. You don't fight one battle. You never go to win one battle. And this goes into, so I don't want to make this too long, 20 minutes. I'm going to post on the Battle of Charleston and how the rebel army failed to engage the British flotilla that was in bad shape when after leaving New York Harbor, Clinton's. They came into a storm, a hurricane. They lost all their horses. They were seasick. It was just a mess. And Charleston Harbor has a shallow opening and a narrow opening. Got to cross the bar if you got any ships of any size. And in hindsight, they said they should have put a couple ships, rebel ships, in there firing away. 12 cannon ships firing at these big British men of war, and they're scary as all hell. Everything you know about the British man of war is frightening. They were the most powerful weapon in the world. And then they out of the other ships, the troop ships, comes the most deadly military, the Redcoats. The British were the finest military ever put in the field through the 17th and 18th century and into the 19th century. They just had it down. They knew how to defeat the enemy. They had colonies all over the world. They had them in India, Africa, in the United States, Canada. They knew how to send a force in, take over people, and then turn them into one of their colonies and maintain that colony. That was always a threat to rebel. In the Bahamas, the black people in the Bahamas. Starts right there studying the Charleston. And it might have been, getting these notes here. Everyone is watching Ukraine. The U.S. is refusing to give them the planes and tanks asked for. I think that's part of the strategy. And the war is fought on many fronts. The French helped us with their ships, but they could not beat us on the ground. Well, what we're looking at is a target. What the Russians did, I don't want to say how they lost. I'm afraid to. Well, this is why they're reconnoitering. This is why they're pretending to fall back. It's bullshit. Don't fall for it. What they're going to do is downsize their force into a guerrilla force. They're going to come in smaller, much smaller, to meet the Ukrainian enemy. They're going to fight them on their own tactics, because you don't supply the enemy a 40-mile target that's sitting there like ducks, all lined up in a row. They're going, who did this? Putin goes, what's happening? These people are not surrendering. Look there's my 40-mile convoy. I would be afraid. The people, oh my gosh, they're coming. The 40-mile long Russian tank. Oh gosh, I'm gonna give up. Let them rape my daughter and kill my children. And oh yeah, boy, And so this kid, see, he's an actor. See, he knows what a stage is. See, he knows. People prepare. Actors prepare. They got scripts. They memorize the scripts. They realize that their job is to convey drama, 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 or comedy, comedy. See, that's the job of the actor. In many respects, it resembles the job of a general. You got to get results, baby. If you're losing, you better tell me how you're losing. You got 10 hours. And you got to, what's plan B now? I had no plan B. We were going to scare the death out of them and they all flee. And then we bring in our indoctrination team. I kid you not, they got one. They got one already working on the battlefield with these young kids that they captured. When I heard this, I said, they lost. Because that was their plan, see? Have the Ukrainian army flee and Zelensky and his liberal, people that, don't want to go along with the Orthodox Kirill church guy, So but that was the plan, that they all flee. The Russian columns disperse and take control of all the city centers. And then they set up, here comes the the Orthodox priest, mind control educators, right? Going to do what the Chinese did, in that great revolution. They killed off all the teachers and were making everybody go to propaganda school. Well, that's what we're going to set up propaganda schools to make the people, now that their will to fight has been taken away, then the real genius of Putin and that priest, killer priest, was to indoctrinate the people so they never, never, never want to have liberal ideas again or gay parades. But you got to start with the young people. In kindergarten, you got to get, gay parades are no good. No good. You will never go to a gay parade. And they're sitting there, the ruins of their towns and cities. We will never go to a gay parade. I swear to God, it's crazy. And they got people in the red states called Republicans that are doing this shit, bringing our country down. That's getting rid of gay lessons in elementary school. Florida, this is it. We got the president of the United States still consorting with the enemy, still telling Putin, hey, I'm ready to go along with your plan, whatever it is. Just get me back in the White House, destroy the Democrats. Got to eat shit on the Biden. I mean, see, I really wanted to be in the military. I was a military genius when I was young, when I played. I won't tell the story now because I don't want to keep these things. This is, talk about playing into your hand. How a little guy can beat a big guy. It's like Russia's read that somewhere. That this never, never happens. And little people always lose. And people that want democracy really don't know what they want. And once you show them a different way, that's what they're going to go for. And it's like that pit bull thing I told you. See? Putin got tunnel vision. He said, I can whip United States of America. I can whip them. I got a better military than them. I got a better, priesthood than them. I'm closer to Jesus than them. See, and instead of seeing the big view in the battlefield, he's locking himself in to being the biggest friggin' loser in the history of losers. You know, and there's Trump right along with him, and that hole gets smaller and smaller. And there they are. Hey, buddy, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Okay. Hey, we're winning, aren't we? No, we're winning. We're winning. We're winning. We're winning. Lost. All right. This is the first war report. This is John G. Presco coming to you live from Springfield, Oregon. You take care out there, you hear?